So Chennedy Carter has been one of the best players in the WNBA this year. And like, look, whether or not you like Chennedy Carter or not, she's been really good. She's very, very good at the sport of basketball. She's probably one of the more electrifying players in the WNBA. And if you agree with that, subscribe. We're trying to hit 31.7K by the end of the day. But when it comes to Chennedy Carter as well, she has been out for a while and no one really knows why. Like, originally, she was out ill coming right out of the Olympic break. She was in hospital and then she came out and played a few games with a mask on. And then the whole team got sick and she was then out for health and safety protocols. And apparently she was questionable for a game. She's been questionable for games. And it's a bit weird that Chicago Sky have been saying that she's been questionable for games when it's been found out that she has spent the last week in hospital. Chennedy Carter spent the last week in hospital in Chicago. While we'd love to respect her privacy as she recovers, we'd like to still keep everyone informed. The process is still moving in the right directions. We wish to see her back out there soon. So obviously, look, Chennedy Carter's sending these videos, I think, to this person, but she has been in hospital for the last few days, which is not good. Which obviously is not good. Like, look, there's no point speculating on why. And obviously, this is just an update. I'm guessing this is because a lot of fans still to this day are saying that she's not playing, even though she's fine. But if you are the Chicago Sky, no, they're done. I don't know when Chicago Sky are going to win another game. Like, they're playing against, like, they've already lost to the Mystics. They're playing against someone decent tonight, isn't it? They're playing the Aces tonight. Jesus, what am I talking about? Someone decent? Yeah, they're playing the Aces, who are like on a mission tonight. And then Atlanta are playing Phoenix without Tash Cloud. So Atlanta are probably going to go and win that game. Phoenix are set at 7 pretty much this year. Like, they need a big comeback to get back to 6. So they're set at 7. Atlanta are probably going to overtake 8 tonight. Like, right now in the standings when it comes to the Chicago Sky, like they're only in on a tiebreak. Not only that, they're in a 6-game losing streak. Chennedy Carter's in hospital. And they have to play each other again. The Atlanta Dream are picking it up. Not only that, by the way, there are still 2 teams that are only 2 games behind in the Wings and Dallas. And the Wings are playing well. Like, the Wings looked really freaking good against the Fever. The Fever just won. The Wings was Satu back. Like, my prediction we could well see the Wings get into 8th. Like, they don't have the hardest running. Like, they play the Mystics and then they play the Dream. Like, if they win that game against the Mystics tonight, if they beat the Mystics tonight, they're 1 game behind whichever, like, one of these teams. And then they're playing Chicago. Like, they're literally playing all 3 teams in their next 3 games. Like, if Dallas go 3-0 here, the likelihood is that they will be in that 8th seed. That's the likelihood, is that they'll go into the 8th seed if they can go and win 3 games in a row, because they're playing this team, and this team, 2 games behind. So if they win tonight, they go a full game ahead of these. And then if the Chicago Sky lose, they're only 1 game behind Chicago. If they win and Chicago lose, which Chicago are going to lose. And the same thing with Washington. If Washington win, they only go 1 game behind Chicago as well. And the reason why Washington can start to win is that they might be saying, oh, but like, surely they would want Chicago in the playoffs. Or they would want Dallas in the playoffs. If you are Washington, you do not want Atlanta in the playoffs. That's all you want to care about. You can make the playoffs yourself and you're good. You just don't want Atlanta in the playoffs because of the way the picks are working. Dallas, like, you would rather have Atlanta or Washington in the playoffs and you guys out of it. Or if you guys are hitting a bit of form, you can maybe think we might be able to scalp the Liberty. I doubt it, but they might be thinking that way. But for the Chicago Sky, it looks like their season is done. And for Chennedy Carter herself, hopefully, and I mean this really hopefully, Chennedy Carter is fine, because look, she's one of the best. She's one of the most fun players to watch. Like, if we're talking about most people that enjoy basketball like to watch fun fast cards. Caitlin Clark's, your Arike Gumboales, your Kelsey Mitchells, your Jewel Lloyds, your Kelsey Plums. But Chennedy Carter, like, as far as like a true shooting percentage, because she doesn't shoot that many threes, she's probably like a worse all-around percentage shooter than a Caitlin Clark or a... I think she's slightly worse than Caitlin Clark. She's quite a bit worse than a Kelsey Mitchell or a Kelsey Plum. But she is still the fastest guard in the W. She's one of the best pull-up mid-range shots. She's one of the quickest guards. She's one of the most athletic players in the WNBA. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if at like 5'8" she can comfortably grab the rim, which is like still impressive. I wouldn't be that surprised. Like, she is freakishly athletic as far as the WNBA is concerned. And it is a pity because, like, obviously she's been in and out of hospital twice since the Olympic break, which isn't good. Which is not good at all. Like, at the end of the day, whether or not you are a fan of the Sky, whether you're a fan of Fever, if you're just a basketball fan, you want the best players to be on the floor as much as possible. Whether or not you want to see another team's best player against your team, that's a different story. But in general, like, the league is better when all the best players in the world are playing in it. And this is like the first season where Chennedy Carter like hasn't crashed out of the league by her own doing. And she was playing at an all-star level. Like, she should have been an all-star. There's no question about it. Chennedy Carter was robbed of an all-star position. And I think she's been robbed of multiple player of the weeks. And I think in July, you could have argued she was player of the month. Like, that's how good Chennedy Carter has been this year. But it does seem like, look, if she's been in and out of hospital for a while, I don't see the point in rushing her back to play. Especially when you are... especially when your team ideally is probably not going to go make the playoffs. So, yeah. That seems to be what's going on with the Sky. So if you are a Chicago Sky fan, now you know how Fever fans felt at the start of the year. But yeah, no, it's like, it is what it is. Look, Chennedy Carter's, touch wood, she comes back strong next year. Chicago Sky are going to have a good year. I think they're going to have a really hard time getting a free agent. That's just me. But like, it's hard to find a really elite free agent that isn't a score for a shooting guard or plays the same position as Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese or Camila Cardoso. So I think it's going to be hard to find one. But thankfully, if you are Chicago Sky, Michaela Onyenwere has been absolutely hooping. And I mean hooping for you guys. So that's the video. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Chicago Sky should just tear it down now? You think they should just completely tank it, go into the biggest tankathon we've seen and just try to get try to beat Dallas but lose to everybody else to at least make sure you've got a lottery pick? And that's where the problem comes now is like Dallas were last in the league when they made the Mabry trade and started tanking. Now there's a chance Dallas make the playoffs. Like if Dallas go into 8th, Chicago don't have a lottery pick. So that could be a disaster for them. They need to beat Dallas with or without her.